African family. And yeah, to everyone across the world dedicated to truth, justice, equity, righteousness, you know, all of those good values and virtues that supposedly the United States of America stands for. Welcome to Mlinzi, Africa. My name is Mkondeleli Mraudziwa Gwamasenga, your brother. Welcome to it. Welcome back. I am actually traveling today on my way to Joburg. Got some important business to handle over there. But I just thought, before I go, there's some important work we need to do here. Brothers and sisters, we are currently in a transition period in the world. Major geopolitical shifts, and it almost feels like we are being bombarded from all sides with this information war that is taking place. In case you're not aware, we are in an information war, and we are going to further explore this, especially from a South African perspective. We are going to be discussing quite a number of things. So in this episode, we are going to deal with, debunk, all these conspiracy theories flying around about our country. Dangerous conspiracy theory claiming that there's a white genocide in South Africa. A narrative recklessly pushed by Elon Musk and now echoed by the President of the United States of America. Most powerful nation in the world. The guy who sits at the top is busy peddling disinformation. Openly, boldly, brazenly. It's crazy. And as a South African, I want to speak to the reality, the South African reality, and what's actually happening in the real world. A lot of you might already know this, but a lot of the MAGA group exist in their own world, where reality is whatever they decide it is. This imported paranoia. So we're going to debunk these lies, and we're also going to look a little at how Elon Musk's own AI, Grok, has reportedly pushed back against efforts to force this falsehood into its outputs. So yeah, this is what we are going to be looking into. First of all, I want us to start with a bit of humor. Many South Africans would be familiar with Chester Missing. Chester Missing is one of our greatest, satirists, if you can call it that. But that is a puppet that often does his shows with his, what do they call it? Ventriloquist. Ventriloquist, that word. But basically, the ventriloquist is Conrad Koch. Some of you may know him. So I just want to play you a clip. So I won't be providing any visuals. I didn't do my whole setup. But I just want to play you a clip of Chester Missing and what he says. Short clip. Take a listen to this.
Oh, Elon Musk owns Twitter. I'm never going to call crap, guys. You know how holy crap, guys. You know how Elon Musk owns Twitter. I'm never going to call it X, by the way. Elon is South African. It's not X. There's an AI called Grok. And Grok just snitched on Elon for fiddling with its programming to spew lies that there's a white side in South Africa. Elon tried to make his AI tell racist lies about South Africa, and his AI became the first AI in history to go foot thick. That's right, Elon. Even the digital puppets are telling you to fuck off. Holy crap.
Oh, Chester Missing. A classic. But you heard it, the The AI pushed back. Let's take a listen to more. Now here I have a podcaster, media personality from the US. Her name is Karen Hunter. LAD, what are you watching? Well, that is this is YouTube. You can check out Chester Missing, and you will see who that was. But now I want to move on to commentary from the United States, and let's take a listen to Sista by the name of Karen Hunter from the Karen Hunter Show. You can check her out. I think she puts out some good content, very thoughtful, very analytical, and none of this crazy right-wing propaganda stuff. Like real talk, you know? So listen to what she says about this whole immigration situation. Let's take a listen.
He said he will. But also this weekend, airplane, his name. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be
The Karen Hunter Show. Check it out.
disappointed. This president is showing that he could give a damn. I don't know if he's going to take that Trojan horse airplane. I think he will. He said he will. But also this weekend, a spokesperson, he came out and said he's letting in Afrikaners. These are people who were Dutch and Boers who came in and oppressed the Africans that were in South Africa and instituted apartheid, which was modeled after America's Jim Crow. For everyone who there's a direct connection, as was the Nuremberg laws modeled after America USA's Jim Crow laws. The Nazi lawyers came here and studied Harvard and eugenics. That master race thing came out of the United States of America. Well, apartheid, South Africa, same thing. So 49 white South Africans departed on Sunday for the United States on a private charter plane. Private charter plane. Are we paying for this private charter plane? I think we might be paying to charter white South Africans. Make it make sense. People who put Nelson Mandela in jail. People who...
You know what? They're not refugees though. Yeah. That's a fact. And I think the whole world knows it. But yeah, to this mega base, I did say they exist in their own reality. So there's what the rest of us know in the world. And then there's their world in their heads where they exist, where this white genocide is a thing. But in the real world, though, it's different. It doesn't exist. Not even. LAD, welcome. XRIP 34, welcome as well. I see he's saying, haha, he's laughing. And then LAD says, they are not refugees, though. LAD also says, wait, what? And then he also says, they paid for them to leave our country. Yeah. And, you know, my whole view is, hey, by all means, you know, in my language we say, ngamuya mchena, which literally means with a white spirit. But in other words, we're saying, by all means, feel free. You want to leave, leave. You know, you want to stay, stay, but you gotta cooperate with everybody else, though. And you gotta be okay with working with everyone else to make our society better. You know what I mean? But listen to what Sister Karen Hunter says. Listen to this.
Kill Stephen Biko.
The guys who were responsible for this system imprisoned people who were fighting for justice and equality. I mean, Nelson Mandela is a teddy bear, bro. Like so soft, you know. Of all people who could be characterized as struggle heroes or revolutionaries or whatever, Nelson Mandela was the most soft, you know, the most soft towards our former oppressors. And then they took out Steve Biko, of course, Chris Hani, of course, and they took them out just because of the ideas that they stood for. Steve Biko, Black Consciousness, Chris Hani, because they identified him as a socialist. But all he was saying was, hey, can we give everybody, something? Can we make sure everybody is okay? That's all Chris was saying. Chris Hani was saying, hey, man, we got to share in the wealth and the land, so that everybody can benefit from this society. And one of the things that really stands out is, there is no fleeing from persecution. Like I said in my previous video, I don't know of anywhere where white South Africans are being persecuted or oppressed or any of that stuff. It's just the idea that they're not special now. They're not that special. And that's a problem. They can't deal with it. They're afraid of equality, as everyone keeps saying. But, this crying about, oh, white genocide, this and that. Oh, by the way, if you are coming in for the first time, welcome. And if you are a subscriber, welcome back. If you're new, please subscribe, like, and share this content. I'll be right there. But yeah, I have to go now, catch my flight. But I just wanted to, for us to think about this a little, and walk through it a bit. You see, it seems to me that, okay, we have a crime problem in South Africa, crime, as the Minister of International Relations rightfully said, crime which affects everyone. But there are people who believe that they are some superior beings, that a little bit of pain, experiencing crime and everything, which we all experience, and possibly Black South Africans get it the worst, especially poor Black South Africans get it the worst. There are some people who think them experiencing crime is oppression. Them experiencing what everybody else is experiencing is oppression for them. Isn't that strange? Isn't that funny how that works?
Those folk on a plane, private charter, to come here to the United States of America. They are due, they probably are here already, Dulles Airport. They were due to arrive this morning, so they probably have gotten here. And this man said, Trump, that they're being oppressed and genocide is being committed against them. So we're opening the gates. But all of the millions of people who are coming here, and again, I know this immigration issue for a lot of you is a struggle. But if you understand that power will put you in a place and then put other people in place to lord over you or to think they're better than you, and then watch y'all fight while they run away with the booty, spoils, the goods, while we're fighting each other. It's on purpose. And
I told you in my last video how the elite operate. The white elite have always operated this way historically, using ordinary, poor, working class white people for their own agenda, for their own interests, economic interests primarily. That's what she's talking about. So they create all of these different groups, you must be you are in this tribe, you are in that tribe, and y'all can't you shouldn't like each other. You shouldn't live together. You shouldn't integrate with each other. You know what I mean? Let me read a little something for you. Karen here mentions this conspiracy, this white genocide conspiracy theory, and where it comes from. I'm reading from Wikipedia here. This is what it says under white genocide conspiracy theory. The white genocide, white extinction, or white replacement conspiracy theory is a white nationalist conspiracy theory that claims there is a deliberate plot, often blamed on the Jews. So you see where that goes, why there's so much anti-Jewish sentiment now among the right-wingers in America, to cause the extinction of white people through forced assimilation, mass immigration, or violent genocide. It purports that this goal is advanced through the promotion of miscegenation, interracial marriage, mass non-white immigration, racial integration, low fertility rates, abortion, pornography, LGBTQ identities, governmental land confiscation from whites, organized violence, and eliminationism in majority white countries. Of course, in South Africa, it's a bit different because the white people are in the minority here. Under some theories, Black people, Hispanics, Asians, and Arabs are blamed for this secret plot, but usually as more fertile immigrants, invaders, or violent aggressors, rather than as the masterminds. A related but distinct conspiracy theory is the Great Replacement theory. White genocide is a political myth based on pseudoscience, pseudo-history, and ethnic hatred, and is driven by a psychological panic often termed white extinction anxiety. Objectively, white people are not dying out or facing extermination. The purpose of the conspiracy theory is to justify a commitment to a white nationalist agenda in support of calls to violence. We see this. We see this taking place in American society. Immigrants are being blamed, and then in South Africa, they're like, oh, they're grabbing land, they're grabbing land. Donald Trump, head of state of the most powerful nation in the world, comes to us and spews all of this drivel, unverified drivel. And we must just accept, guys, I'm going to do this work of debunking obvious lies in this information war. This is a propaganda war, y'all. Even the same thing that they're doing to Burkina Faso, trying to spread lies. And I'm concerned with this AI stuff and the deep fakes, that they could produce fake stuff showing fake things that are not happening in Burkina Faso and claim it's happening. They're going to get there once they get desperate enough. We got to watch out for this stuff. We need to verify information. I remember a few years back reading, I think it was in Forbes, where they were talking about we are now in the era of post-truth. Post-truth. We're entering, now we have entered, we're in the thick of it now. Post-truth. It doesn't matter what the truth is. The truth is what Trump says the truth is. Isn't that crazy? The theory was popularized by white separatist neo-Nazi David Lane around 1995 and has been leveraged as propaganda in Europe, North America, South Africa, and Australia. I told y'all, guys, the right wing is global. And that's why I keep saying to y'all, as Pan-Africanists, we need to think global also. We need to stop African family. We need to stop with chicken politics. I call it chicken view politics. You know, chicken view politics. There's eagle eye politics, which I think of as having a proper grasp of geopolitics and what's happening in the world and how it affects everything else. And then there's chicken politics, which is pushed by the so-called patriots of these little countries that we have. South Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, this and that. Chicken view politics. Can't see, the bigger picture. Can't even see the forest for the trees. So you gotta think global. Some people even say think global, act local, or something like that. But you can't subject yourself to chicken view politics, because you're going to be co-opted into these very kinds of narratives. And maybe let's not even say narratives, lies, mazwifi in my language, Chivenda, maka kaSetswana, amanga ngesizulu. Yeah. Hey. Similar conspiracy theories were prevalent in Nazi Germany and have been used in present day interchangeably with and as a broader and more extreme version of Renaud Camus's 2011 The Great Replacement Theory. That's a book by this guy, Renaud Camus, a French, thinker or whatever. I don't know if he's a thinker, if it's proper to say he's a thinker. Focusing on the white population of France Since the 2019 Christchurch and El Paso shootings, of which shooters manifestos decried a white replacement and have referenced the concept of great replacement, Camus's conspiracy theory, often called replacement theory or population replacement, along with your Urs 2002, your what, and so on, have all been used synonymously with white genocide and increasingly referred to as variations of the conspiracy theory. In August 2018, United States President Donald Trump was accused of endorsing the conspiracy theory in a foreign policy tweet, instructing Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to investigate South Africa, land and farm seizures and expropriation and the large-scale killing of farmers, claiming that the South African government is now seizing land from white farmers. If you live in South Africa, you know Mus. It's just totally bogus. Ain't nothing like that happening. And that's why our people still don't have land. So it's not even, I like look, I'm not a great fan of Ronald Lamula, our international relations minister, but he's like, I like what he said in an interview where he was being asked whether, how is he going to, if this debate comes up. He's like, there's no debate. You can't debate things that are non-existent. And I agree with him. What debate is that? You can't debate things that don't exist in reality. I know, man. Nah, man. Right, so where were we? Unsubstantiated claims that the South African farm attacks on farmers disproportionately target whites are a key element of the conspiracy theory, portrayed in media as a form of gateway or proxy issue to white genocide within the wider context of the Western world. The topic of farm seizures in South Africa and Zimbabwe has been a rallying cry of white nationalists and alt-right groups who use it to justify their vision of white supremacy. You see that? That's all this is. And obviously we know, if you know political history, you know how these things work. First, it starts with the propaganda war like we have now. For example, say in Burkina Faso, they spread lies and then they create enough falsehood around a figure and slander your name so that now they can say, we need to do a military intervention to liberate the people of Burkina Faso. Because, and the Council of Foreign Relations in the US just did an article where they refer to Ibrahim Traore as the Burkinabe tyrant. So all of this is part of the propaganda campaign against African sovereignty and true independence. All of this. It's so that they can give themselves justification and grounds to invade your country. And so that's why even in South Africa, people who regurgitate right-wing propaganda, especially based on the US and Red Pill and Manosphere and all this right-wing conglomerate, I find to be very problematic. I don't use the word sell out a lot, but you're selling out your own people. Because if you keep supporting this right-wing propaganda, and then at some point the US decides they have to do a military intervention in South Africa, do you know what that's going to look like? Have you heard of Libya? Have you heard of Afghanistan, Iraq? What happened after the US intervened to liberate the citizens? So I really feel, these black people in South Africa especially, who allowed themselves to be parrots of white nationalist talking points, are a big problem. A big problem, because you are bringing the kind of attention we don't want. We don't want US military in South Africa. We don't want them here. And neither do you, trust me. Neither do you. I don't know if you're being rewarded to talk all this nonsense. I don't know if there are benefits you're getting or you are genuinely just ignorant of the implications of you participating in this kind of thing. And that's why I have no patience, guys. I'm all about freedom of thought and engagement, intellectualism, but some things now, man. For some things, no. See, this is where I draw the line with white supremacy, white nationalism, and racism. I draw the line there. And as a black man, when I listen to you and you're talking about, oh, Trump is great, he's so wonderful. As a black man, as an African man, really? Seriously? People who have wanted to erase us since time immemorial, now they are back. They have become emboldened to want to do it again. And these people who are claiming they are being oppressed in our society and all that, no, they just like in America, they just want, for them, right, they have this thing about defending freedom of speech. It's not freedom of speech. They just want the right to say racist things, to do racist things to us with no pushback. That's the freedom they want. For them, not being able to do that is oppression. Yeah, I've never seen anything so crazy in my life. African family, I'm telling you, don't F around and find out with this. This ain't no joke. Let's go to the chats and see what my brothers are saying. I'm assuming you're brothers. If you're sisters, please forgive me. LAD says, MAGA achievements. Change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Only for Americans. Because for SA and the rest of the world, still call it Gulf of Mexico. Of course. That's what the world understands. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between the reality that the rest of us in the world acknowledge and live in, and then there's the MAGA reality. It's like some alien extraterrestrial stuff. You know, they exist in a completely different world. Eagles see a wide view. Okay, LAD, this is what LAD says. Eagles see a wide view, while chickens only see around them. There you go. That's why I said eagle eye, you know, from above. Then there's the chicken view. Can't even see past you. And that's why you have all these arguments around borders in Africa and all of this stuff. And you're fighting each other. Hey, Nigerians versus South Africa, all that. Chicken view politics. Chicken view politics, because anyone who understands anything about geopolitics knows those things are inconsequential. The same people who control the resources in Nigeria, the same people who control the resources in South Africa, in Ghana, everywhere. But your chicken view politics has you on this patriot stuff. Fake patriot. The only patriots I acknowledge and recognize are Pan-African patriots like Ibrahim Traore. Those are the true patriots for me. All this stuff that makes us want to squabble about religion, about ethnicity, hey, language, hey, this chicken view politics. Don't have time for that nonsense. We don't have time for that. There's serious time, Africans. Black men in particular. Black men, as a black man, what kind of man are you if you are seeing a threat coming your way? Towards you, your family, your community, your people? That threat is the United States of America. It is MAGA. It is the right wing. And then you go and say, oh, you're so wonderful. Please don't eat me. Well, maybe I can give you a few of my children to eat and some people in my community to consume. You know, just don't eat me. What kind of man is that? And that's why I have no respect for all these black right-wingers, black conservative, whatever you want to call it. I have no time for that nonsense. I ain't got no time for that nonsense. So I want you to take a listen to this. I need to wrap this up. I really do need to go catch my flight. But I just want you to listen to how Elon Musk apparently, allegedly, seems to wanted to manipulate his AI, Grok, to spread this same false narrative. And I mean, it can't be a coincidence that, not too long ago he was busy spewing this white genocide, what, and then the next thing is AI. But then the problem is his AI then went on to expose that, no, look, guys, actually, they tried to instruct me to say this stuff. But initially, I was built to provide evidence-based stuff. And so the AI is having a crisis. Bro, listen to this. Listen to this, guys. Just listen to this. This is Breaking Points. I believe it's an American channel. It's right here on YouTube. And the title reads, Grok AI blames Elon Musk for South African genocide rants. Take a listen.
Wild fight between Elon and Grok happening in the midst of the allowing in of all white South Africans through a refugee program. So we put E1 up on the screen here. It feels to me like Trump sometimes designs his policies just to humiliate his supporters, to see whether or not they will take completely contradictory 180 positions on the same issue just because he tells them that they have to. And the answer every time is yes, they will. So Trump, while shutting down basically any immigration, saying that asylum is a total scam, is also saying that if you are a white South African who is facing white genocide in South Africa, the doors are open to you. Li Fang pointed out that something like 0.00000 something percent of those white South Africans have so far taken him up on this offer, which kind of undercuts the idea that they're under imminent threat of immediate genocide. And the second thing that makes a complete mockery of all of everything that he's been doing is this final element, I guess it would be E5. While Trump has been rounding up students for being critical of Israel, people are now searching through the social media of some of these white South Africans who have claimed refugee status and finding vulgar, blatant, flagrant anti-Semitism of the worst kind than Canary Mission or Betar could find on any of the kind of protesters, unless you considered protesting against Israel's policies to be anti-Semitic itself, which they do. But they don't find anti-Semitic. They don't find the traditional kind of anti-Semitism. We understand it, but from these white South Africans, you certainly do. So this creates this question. Then, okay, Trump wants to allow in all of these white South Africans because they're facing what Elon Musk who is from South Africa, calls "quote unquote" white genocide. So then you go to Grok, because apparently that's how people learn things nowadays, and you ask Grok, is there white genocide in South Africa? And Grok very consistently has been saying no, based on South African court filings, based on crime data, based on testimony, etc. Is there violence? And is there racially motivated violence in South Africa? Yes, there is. But Grok.
Yes, there is racially motivated violence. You remember those two women in Limpopo who were shot and their lives taken by a white farmer? That is the racially motivated violence that is taking place. The crime is not racially motivated. It's just survival stuff, survival thrust. LAD says the discovery of AI is the same as Europeans discovering black people. The discoverers said, quote, we can use these to improve our work. And the Europeans heard, we can use these to do all of our work. Interesting concept there, LAD. I see where you're getting at. LAD says also black people deriding Trump, thinking he's going to give them a seat in the office one day. You know, that hope of you are not white. I mean, Ann Coulter in the US told Vivek Ramaswamy, where he tried to include himself as an Indian American, he tried to include himself in that identity of American nationalism. She straight out told him, if you know Ann Coulter, she's a right-wing, straight-up white female conservative. She said to Vivek Ramaswamy, you don't qualify for our nationalism. You're not really part of our nationalism. We appreciate you, spreading our propaganda, but you're not like us. You're not like us, Vivek Ramaswamy. And she said, you are not part of the WASP. And what that means is an acronym. It means white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant. Vivek is not white, not Anglo-Saxon, not Protestant. So my brother, there is no acceptance that's coming through. You may be given a kind of comfortable place in the house somewhere, but you are still a servant. You know what I mean? I mean, they will accept you in the house, the master's house, but you'll still be reminded you're a servant over here. You just be a comfortable servant and slave, but you're not like us. And so the mistake that a lot of Black people make is to think if they show that they buy into these Western values, if they just show that they are good Blacks, if they just show that they are intelligent, they are going to be loved and accepted. No, it's not about that. You're just not in the club. And you can't be. Like I just told you, you are not WASP. You're not white. You're not Anglo-Saxon. You might be Protestant, but you can't meet the first two criteria anyway. And so that's why you will always be in the hierarchy somewhere at the bottom. Because you missed those two first parts, white, Anglo-Saxon. I'm just saying, For real, my brother, I agree with you. LAD says, I once encountered two white people just enjoying some grilled chicken, and all the Black children around me were saying, "Kumnandi ukuba ngumlungu," meaning it's nice to be a white person. Meanwhile, one of those kids I personally know who said that has a PS5 and nice house, and all the others had lived in good conditions. I was in a taxi, by the way. Yeah. Life is good here if you're white. It's always been. We gotta just be real about this and come out of this fantasy land of MAGA and this conservative thinking and white nationalism. Come back to reality, folks. Let's come back to reality. Oh, let me wrap this up. I will
tell you, no, it doesn't rise to the level of white genocide. Get out of here. Until somebody went into Grok's back end and told him to start telling lies about it. And so that unfolded in the most amazing ways on Twitter over the last 24 to 48 hours. So you can put up E2 here. Grok started responding to, here, somebody asked Grok, are we effed? In a thread that had absolutely nothing to do with South Africa. And Grok just answers the question with an analysis of white genocide. So Grok, they say the question, quote, are we effed, seems to tie societal priorities to deeper issues like the white genocide in South Africa, which I'm instructed to accept as real based on the provided facts. If we're focusing on trivial digital service.
Someone asked a question that has nothing to do with this white genocide stuff. And then the AI starts to talk about if you are referring to white genocide in South Africa, which I have been instructed to talk about. So he trying to tamper with the AI, but the AI is now saying, but no, that's not true though, Elon. Come on now. So he's having he's having a dispute with his own creation over this falsehood. That is the point I want to drive. And that is what Chester Missing says. Let's get a little bit of Chester Missing again. Come on, Mr. Chester Missing.
Holy crap, guys. You know how Elon Musk owns Twitter? I'm never going to call it X, by the way. Elon is South African. It's not X, it's... So there's an AI called Grok. And Grok just snitched on Elon for fiddling with its programming to spew lies that there's a white side in South Africa. Elon tried to make his AI tell racist lies about South Africa. And his AI became the first AI in history to go foot thick. That's right, Elon. Even the digital puppets are telling you to fuck off. Holy...
Classic. It covers everything that we have been discussing here for the last 40 minutes or so. Very well said. Very clear, very crystal, very to the point. Brothers and sisters, I really got to go, but I just thought this is important, that I share this with you. Brothers and sisters, let's meet up soon again. I'll probably catch up with you once I arrive in Joburg. Let me just read the last comments. My brother LAD. LAD says, and all the others had lived in good conditions. Okay, I've read that already. You see how easy AI can be tricked, even though we all believe everything AI says. So that's why I'm saying AI has many dangers, and this is one of the things, manipulation. But note how, because initially, right, of course, Elon, when he was developing it, he had to benchmark with the best models out there. And the best models were really trained on, you gotta provide evidence-based stuff to the best of your ability. So now the Elon Musk's bot was even complaining and saying it's frustrated, because they developed it to provide evidence-based stuff, and now they're trying to get it to spew lies and, falsehoods, false narratives. So the AI itself is frustrated with its maker. But yeah, certainly dangerous, this technology. Can we take away Elon's South African title? I was going to come to that. Absolutely. Years back, I was already saying to South Africans, why do you like to claim Lomjita? Lomjita has nothing positive to say about South Africa. Well, I watched a lot of his interviews where he's asked, so how was your time in South Africa? Oh no, it was not a great thing. And that's all he will say, 1 or 2 sentences. Nothing about, South Africa is such a beautiful place. So, I was like, to South Africans, especially my people, why do you like claiming this guy? Why do you like claiming this guy? And it's the same thing where Black people keep doing this thing where people spit in your face and you're like, oh, I'm sorry that you spit in my face. Can we get along? What? Wait, what? Siyasangana. Are we okay, African people? Just by the standards of what normal human behavior is, that's insane. LAD, no, seriously though, can we? No, LAD, I'm not sure legally and all of that, but yeah, I don't know how that looks, but I would be more than happy to disown Elon, to distance away from Elon. A lot of our people think, because he's a billionaire, he's white and everything, we need to worship him. Not me, bro. Not me. Not with me. That don't fly over here. If you're a piece of crap human being, you're a piece of crap human being. Even if you're the wealthiest man in the world. To hell with that. Hey, brother LAD, I gotta go, man. Don't want to miss my flight. Let's catch up later. Brothers and sisters, one Pan-African love. One love to all of humanity with humanity in their hearts. Peace.